Let's get into Downtown Hockeytown, presented by Labatt Blue Light. Today's guest is your radio play-by-play announcer for the Detroit Red Wings, Ken Kale. Ken, it's always great to have you on. We've got you joining for Downtown Hockeytown today. Excited to talk some playoff hockey with you and also some Red Wings.
Yeah, really excited about that. And boy, what a wild start to the Stanley Cup playoffs finally. And what a game last night. We'll talk a little bit about that between Columbus and Tampa Bay. But I'll tell you what, the hockey has been fantastic. And I give these guys a lot of credit because of their stamina out there. And, you know, when they haven't skated since March, and we're seeing some really good hockey, not only in the play-in matchups, but also in the first games that were played yesterday.
And Ken, we will get into those more. But like I said, we are going to talk some Red Wings. I just want to get your thoughts on some of the recent Red Wings news, most notably that Mo Seider and Filip Zadina are going to go play overseas. Mo Seider will be in Germany, where he played before he was drafted by the Red Wings. And then we'll have Filip Zadina playing in the Czech Republic. What do you think of this move? And do you think we are going to see some more Red Wings prospects doing the same thing?
I think it's a good move, and I know Art and I talk about this a lot when we're off the air, that it's important for the Red Wing youngsters to really get some experience and keep on developing as players. And so when Filip Zadina goes over and he plays for the Czech Republic team and, he keeps improving his game, that's great. Mo Seider had a terrific year in Grand Rapids. You don't want to see these guys just sit around, wait till December when the American Hockey League starts again or when the National Hockey League starts. You want them playing, and you want them playing in all different situations. So I think it's a great move. There's always that risk of injury, but these are hockey players. They want to go out. They want to play and perform. So I just think playing in all different situations for Mo Seider and Filip Zadina is just really going to help their development. And when the season starts, they should be ahead of the curve in December.
Ken, another interesting thing is Casper Kotzkonsalo, who's also a Red Wing prospect, opted to forego his senior season at Boston U for the, as I like to call them, the Fighting Terriers, and play in Finland, his native Finland. I think that's interesting from the standpoint is that, we don't know if there's going to be college hockey this year. There's a number of Red Wing prospects that are in college. Keith Petruzzelli, to say, Jack Adams is coming back from a long layoff with a major knee surgery. I'm kind of curious. I mean, when you look at it that way, I think it's very, very difficult. And the Red Wings are in an odd position. I don't know how you cannot tell these guys that they can't go over and play. And I'm including current Red Wings on the roster. If Dylan Larkin wants to play in Europe, I don't know how you cannot let him play after being off for almost a year.
Well, I think the good thing is that right now it looks like the National Hockey League is going to start their next season in December. At least that's the way things are going. You never know. But playing is always key, Art. And, you and I know that. And especially you and I were talking about no college football for Michigan State and the University of Michigan. So how do we know if, college hockey is going to be played this year? So I think it's a good move for Kotkaniemi and anybody that can go over and start playing as soon as possible, because you don't want to be stale. And like I mentioned before, if you're playing now and you get a couple months in, and then let's just say that the league starts in December, if you're Filip Zadina, if you're Mo Seider, and you finally make the Red Wing team, then you're just ahead of the curve, and you're going to be that much more better to adapt, I think, in the National Hockey League. So, I think it's up to the players whether or not they want to go out and play, but I think it's a good point, and I think it's a good way that players can get some experience and just keep on playing, because that's the name of the game right now. You want to be ahead of the curve.
Ken, let's take a look at Evgeny Svechnikov for a minute. The Red Wings obviously signed him to a one-year contract extension, so he will be a Red Wing for at least another year. When you look at him, and we're talking about these guys going to play overseas, is that what you see in the future for Evgeny Svechnikov, or is he going to be staying here, hopefully, to make the Red Wings next season? Really, what is your prediction on his immediate future with this organization?
Well, it's just too bad a couple of years ago that he suffered that knee injury. I think it was the last preseason game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he actually lost the entire season, and that just hindered his development. But he really worked hard last year, and I think it's good that the Red Wings signed him for one more year. He's one of those guys that is he's older now. He understands what it takes to be a professional hockey player. He's got some experience playing in Grand Rapids, and it's now or never, I guess, for Evgeny Svechnikov. He's got to make sure that he's going to step in and make something happen when he does play for the Detroit Red Wings. And, I think he's at that age right now where, his development is going to continue to get better and better, but he's a man now. He's not a boy anymore. So I think he can compete in the National Hockey League. But this is a big season for Evgeny Svechnikov. So I'm sure he wants to go out there and prove that he belongs in the National Hockey League.
Another thing I wanted to ask you about, there was that 5 overtime game, as we saw, like the fourth or fifth longest game in NHL history, when Tampa Bay beat the Columbus Blue Jackets. So we're always talking about the players and, what are they doing in between periods? We know they're talking strategy and eating pizza, or maybe that back in the days, yeah, they're all eating Little Caesars pizza back in the day. Maybe now they're taking, I don't know, beet supplements or something. But what about an announcer? What about somebody like you? I mean, you would have to call a game which was like almost 2.5 games or something like that. I mean, what do you do in between periods? Are you spraying your throat with water or lozenges, or because that has to be a grind on an announcer too.
Well, it certainly is. And I remember the triple overtime game in Carolina. I was tired by the end of that third overtime, and or when the Larionov scored the goal. And I can't imagine going another 2 periods. Although you just, you get wrapped up in the game, and that's your job, and that's what you're supposed to do. But what's interesting too is I was watching that overtime game, and they went into the 5th period. And obviously, you start thinking about the Red Wings Montreal Maroons back in 1936. And that one went into 6 overtimes before the Red Wings finally won it on a Mud Bruneteau goal. But I was reading a story somewhere where Jack Adams actually, to get the boys going, he actually had sugar cubes and he dipped them in brandy so that the boys could get energy. And, a question came to mind, where did he get that bottle of booze? That's what I wanted to know. But, I guess you got to do what you got to do. Back then, that's what they thought about, getting the players ready and going. And certainly it must have helped the Red Wings because they won the game and then eventually won the Stanley Cup.
Well, certainly with the way John Tortorella coaches, they seem to put everything in the rearview mirror and just keep focusing forward. I want to say my Vegas Golden Knights, and that's what I'm referring them to as right now, took care of Chicago rather handily, which I can't believe. But anything else intrigue you so far in the playoffs? I know we have a lot of great matchups. I think Boston has really got a hornet by the tail, if that makes any sense, in Carolina, a team that is just good and young and fast. And who knows? It's still pretty much wide open, I guess, in my book.
The player that really impressed me in that first round against Edmonton was Kubalik of Chicago. He was just outstanding. Oh, yeah. And he had, 30 goals or 29 goals in the regular season, and he carried it into that series and was actually very, very dangerous. But, Leonard really wasn't tested in that game, only faced 19 shots. But this Vegas club's a really good club, and it wouldn't surprise me if they go to the conference final because they're a tough team. They always seem to get great goalkeeping. They're well coached, and their players play hard each and every game. And it looks like they were ready to play last night against Chicago.
Ken, I've known you a long time, and I just want to be clear on this. In that 3 overtime game in 2002 in Carolina, and I was actually in the booth with you, if you remember that game. That was when I did a post-game show till like 5:30 in the morning. But what I'm curious about, I know in between periods you kept excusing yourself. Are you sure you weren't taking sugar cubes laced with brandy? Are you, because you got happier as the game went on, and I know Paul was looking at me, Paul Woods, and he's saying, "What's up with Kenny? What's up with Kenny? He's real happy. He's real happy. He should be dog tired." So, sugar cubes and brandy, is that the secret?
No, forget the sugar cubes, just the brandy.
That's a Kenny I know. That's a Ken Kellett I know and love right there.
Ken, we've got some great hockey ahead of us. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have to spend with you today. We could talk hockey all day with you, though, so we'll definitely be having you back very soon. And, guys, I really like your yellow shirts. Did we plan this? I don't.
I didn't plan it. I just wore it.
Well, according to all the fashion gurus in Paris, yellow is the hot color this summer. So I think we're right in step with the fashion mavens that we all are.
It's not yellow for the Boston Bruins, though, right, guys?
Now
No, not at all. I'm actually rooting for the Carolina Hurricanes. So
I'm in with Vegas all the way. I'm in with Vegas. I'm throwing it
So
all
maybe it
towards
is
Vegas.
gold for you, Art. Maybe it's not yellow.
Yes, it
Maybe
is.
you're wearing gold.
Yes,
Okay. All right.
a
I got it.
variation of yellow.
well, well, Ken, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, a big thank you to Labatt Blue Light for presenting Downtown Hockeytown. Labatt Blue Light, refreshing Canadian Pilsner. Visit your local retailer when safe to pick up some Labatt Blue Light.